This podcast is part of the Michigan Sports and Entertainment Podcast Network. Go to michigansportsandentertainment.com for more great podcasts.
You know who I can do without? You know who I can do without? I can do without the people in the video store.
Which ones?
All of them.
This is Massive Late Fee with Mike and Mark.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my co-host Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Not too bad, Mark. How about yourself?
Good. We've had a good week here at Massive Late Fee. We're going to have some merchandise pretty soon for Massive Late Fee. I have all some of the things that we're going to use uploaded into the store. They're not live at the store yet, but they are up in there. They're all up in there. You'll be able to buy some stuff pretty soon from us, and we'll let you know how that goes and where you can get it. Mike, I've got to find out, too, if you have any ideas for merchandise that we could sell.
No, not really.
Also,
Marvel movies suck, maybe, the t-shirt.
That's not bad. I was thinking of, I wonder if do you think, you know that guy that has the pictures of his son all over,
Yeah.
the ones that look like you? Is that,
yes.
Do you think that's like copywritten or something, or do you think that's protected
I don't
anyway?
know.
Can I put that on a shirt legally?
I don't know. It's on my Twitter, though, so it's probably okay.
Because I was thinking we could put like that and then just have Marvel movies suck underneath it or something.
They do.
But yeah, there's some stuff that we could definitely do. But
I like to say superhero movies suck because they all, not just Marvel.
That's true. But yeah, I've got our logo up there on some items right now. There's like shirts, hats, cell phone cases, things like that. So for all of you who've been asking about merchandise, there will be some available in the near future. I just have some other things I need to do as far as I want to make it look and sound right and everything, and just kind of get all the products up there and together before I make it go live. And then I will give you links. Also, we've added some podcasts to the network. I would like to just shout them out real quick. We have added a show called Is It Philosophy that I actually will be appearing on at some point. I set up a time with the host to join the show, and they basically talk about either a serious topic or a completely silly topic, but each time it's pursued in a very serious, philosophical kind of way. The whole show's not super serious. You can have fun with it, and there's definitely laughs to be had there. But the way that they talk about, like the first one he did was, is it moral to kill artificial intelligence? To ever kill artificial intelligence, is that a moral thing to do? And they had a really in-depth and interesting discussion about it. So that's one of them. The other one is Quiz and Hers, which is a quiz show with a man and a woman who are engaged at this point. Not quite married yet, but they'll get there. And that's
Unless the show breaks them apart.
That's true. But that's another very good show that I like. And the last one is In a City Like Yours, which is a true crime type of podcast, which is also really good. A lot of good talent coming into the Michigan Sports and Entertainment Podcast Network. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I guess I should probably introduce what we do. I always forget to do this. This is not part of my normal introduction thing because, I don't know, I just don't know how to do a podcast. As you guys know, you guys listen to the show. So we talk movies and TV, mostly Netflix streaming stuff, all the stuff that replaced Blockbuster, so we don't have the late fees anymore that we used to. But also kind of whatever we want to do, because we're talking about Game of Thrones again.
Yeah, it's our show. Okay, we'll do what we want to do.
Exactly. But if you need us to put ourselves into a narrow definition box, and that makes you feel comfortable, that's what you can do. You can put us there. Just don't yell at us when we think outside the box, everyone.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Game of Thrones, one of the things that I saw this week was that Stephen King has a theory about what is going to happen at the end of Game of Thrones, and he tweeted it out. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, because I don't know what spoilers are anymore. But if you don't want to be spoiled about Game of Thrones,
We should just have a solid spoilers abounding policy because it makes no sense to avoid them. We don't.
Yeah, we don't avoid spoilers. So if you clicked on an episode and it says Game of Thrones, because the title of this episode, as you'll notice if you're looking at your phone or wherever you're listening to this, says Game of Thrones and then the title of the episode, you should know it's going to spoil that episode and you should have watched it. And if you haven't watched it, you shouldn't be listening to this. I mean, what are you, a madman? If you have watched it, you can't be spoiled for any of the earlier stuff. So anyway,
to be fair, you will save yourself some time though, because we'll just sum it up for you.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. So anyway, Stephen King has a theory about what's going to happen at the end of Game of Thrones, and his theory is that Jon and Daenerys both die, and Tyrion becomes the ruler on the Iron Throne. What do you think of the theory, Mike?
I don't think that makes any sense at all.
I agree. It's funny, too, because he's friends with George R.R. Martin, and he's obviously a fan of the show and the books. But I agree. I don't think it makes much sense. Everyone loves Tyrion, but it doesn't make sense for him to be a ruler. And they would have to shoehorn that in there for the culmination of his storyline to be that, in my opinion.
Yeah. He doesn't even make sense how far down he would be on the line of succession. I was thinking about that actually this week, and I don't know, we can talk about it later in the I have a theory about not like a theory, just like a fun way for the series to end.
Okay. I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, so I don't know, I'll just save it for later if you want, or in the Game of Thrones section of the television program.
Yeah, we can talk about that later in our TV program. So speaking of Stephen King, though, according to what I read here by Mike Jones, I'll give you a shout out, Mike Jones, from ScreenRant.com. That's where I'm getting this story, everyone. I don't make these up, and I'm not a Hollywood insider. I don't talk to Stephen King on a daily basis. If you've listened to our celebrity diss portion of the show, you understand that we're not friends with celebrities. So yeah, I got it from Mike Jones.
They probably don't like us.
But according to him, Stephen King has seen It Chapter 2, and he loves it, which is just an enormous surprise to me. This is also coming from the man that wrote and directed Maximum Overdrive, so I guess take that for what it's worth.
He had a cameo in The Langoliers.
Yeah, he did. That is true. Ugh. But he says that he likes It Chapter 2. I'll tell you, I don't think we didn't review It Chapter 1. I don't think this podcast existed when that came out. I didn't love it. It was...
it was okay. It wasn't great.
Yeah,
I think we did talk about it, actually.
Yeah, I feel like we did too. I just don't know when. Maybe around...
We compared the original miniseries and the movie, I think.
I think it's on our Halloween episode, the one before Halloween.
One of them. I think it's like 4 Halloween-ish episodes in a row.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was okay. It was, fine, but I didn't love it. It certainly could have been better. And as Mike has pointed out before, and I think he's absolutely right, it's basically an unfilmable book anyway.
Yeah, and you just can't top Tim Curry in the original anyhow. I mean, I don't care how good this Bill Skarsgård maybe guy is.
Yeah,
I mean, he's okay. Not great.
Another Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Taking jobs from Americans. Even though Tim Curry's not American either.
No, he's not.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, he's okay. I mean, it's not an improvement. I mean, it's a movie now, I guess. Mm-hmm. And they haven't done it in a while, but
I mean, I'll see it because I kind of have to see it. And the first one wasn't a terrible movie. It was a fine movie. It just wasn't. I thought it could have been a lot better.
Right.
But what do we got here now? Lesbian superhero drama. You want to hear about some lesbian superhero drama? Apparently, Batwoman and Nancy Drew are coming to the CW. The CW does that Riverdale show, and I think Nancy Drew is going to be a spinoff of that Riverdale show, which is weird because, I guess...
Are they in the same universe?
I don't know. I guess that at some point the Archie Comics bought Nancy Drew, maybe? I suppose.
I guess. Weren't there like movies back in the 60s or 70s of like the Hardy Boys and or Nancy Drew?
Yeah, the Nancy Drew was created, I believe, in the 40s as books, and separate from the Hardy Boys, but sort of like in the same vein. And yeah, that like it goes back all the way back then. It predates Archie, and yeah, I don't know about this. Like maybe they bought it at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, they must.
But yeah, I guess they're trying to create their own little television universe, sort of like the Arrowverse, which is a word that I've heard.
That sounds very lame.
It's Green Arrow, and I think The Flash, and I don't know what else is part of that because I don't watch any of those shows.
Yeah, those are like the worst superheroes ever. Like the one guy shoots arrows really well, and the other guy's fast.
But I guess Greg Berlanti is going to be the showrunner for these shows. I think he does Riverdale. I don't know exactly. Listen, I haven't read this article, so I read the headline. So I don't know. I don't know what the lesbian drama or whatever is. Oh, Batwoman. Apparently, Batwoman is a lesbian. Is that dramatic in some way? Who cares?
I don't know if that is even. I don't think is how it is in the comics.
I don't know. I don't know if she's a lesbian in the comics or not. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't care what her sexual everyone talks about wanting to be progressive and all this shit and everything. And that's fine. I'm fine with being progressive, but it's Batwoman. I don't care what her sexual orientation is. Honestly, Batman could be gay, and I don't care because his sexual orientation doesn't play into the movie in any way. It doesn't. What his sexual orientation is doesn't inform the character.
Never seen a Batman movie and be like, I could have seen some full on penetration in that movie. It would have made it a little better.
Exactly. Oh, anyway.
Come on. Batman lives with a kid in his teens, and he's a bachelor this whole time. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, there's a scene in the new Batwoman series that makes it real clear she's a lesbian.
She's denied insurance by the superheroes union.
Right, exactly. Sorry, you can't have a domestic partner on your insurance.
Why can't my wife get insurance too? Wife?
All right, whoa, partner. Listen.
You're a woman.
I don't even know who's in that universe, but whatever. Apparently Nancy Drew is now, too. I don't know what any of them have to do with each other. But it was all mashed up into that article. The last...
That you didn't read.
Yep, exactly. This is sort of like keeping current. The
Hey, quit stealing my moves.
The last story is that Disney is going to try to fulfill the promise to everyone in the world that they'll make Star Wars movies from now until we're all dead, because they've announced the dates for 3 more Star Wars movies in 2022, 2024, and 2026.
Are they like sequels to these current movies?
I believe that this is the Rian Johnson spin-off sequel, possibly. Actually, they haven't announced what they're going to be. So they could be 3 standalone movies. They could be the Rian Johnson spin-off thing, or it could be the 3 movies that the guys from Game of Thrones are supposed to be making, which is hinted to be Knights of the Old Republic. Or it could be a combination of them. But according to Disney, after this trilogy is over with this next movie, that ends the Skywalker saga, and then they're not going to make any more of the Skywalker-esque movies. So it won't be
after the next one, you mean, or
Yeah.
the next one after this?
No, after the one that comes out next, the episode 9. Then they'll be done with Skywalker saga movies. They're still going to make movies, clearly, but they'll be done with the Skywalker saga movies. I'm telling you,
With something they don't owe George Lucas any money whatsoever towards.
Right.
Like, probably has some kind of a license, probably getting some tiny bits still of the Star Wars property.
This franchise is creatively bankrupt in my mind.
Yeah, it was never that cool to begin with. It was like a guy with a laser sword. I mean, wow, that's awesome. That's not shit anymore, You have a laser sword?
Yeah.
People are throwing hammers at, ships and stuff these days.
That's true. Captain America's holding a hammer and beating somebody to death with it.
If there's a new person in a Marvel movie, he's like, oh, wow, watch out for this guy. He's got a sword that's a laser. I mean, do you think he's like an awesome new character?
I'd love to see, Thor looking at a Jedi or something. Oh, he's got a laser.
Yeah, it's like, this guy sucks.
What a fun toy. I can't do it, Chris Hemsworth. But anyway, that is the news for the week. So now we go to educating Mike. Mike, I think you're going to like this one. This was quite a journey. So, our good friend Ben, who also listens to the show and talks to me via text occasionally. Ben,
I lost your number. Feel free to text me.
Yeah, there you go, Ben. If you get the inkling, or if you're hearing this, he's not. I don't think he's quite caught up yet. But once you get caught up to this point, or once you're to this point, give Mike a text. And if you need Mike's phone number, text me, and I'll give you Mike's phone.
And really, you could say whatever. It's like you're like, whatever. I just listened to this a year from now. I don't. How will I be able to tell? I don't. I don't track who's listening to episodes.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so he texted me this film, and I was like, oh, this has to be the next Educating Mike. And I don't have enough for it to be Educating Mike, really. But that's part of the fun of this, because I went on an adventure tracking this thing down. So this movie, it's a short film, 22 minutes long, and it's called Saved by the Belding. Have you ever heard of this?
I think I've heard of this before, yeah.
Released in 2010, this film follows 4 guys who go on a journey to California in the hopes to find out the truth about the infamous Rod Belding of Saved by the Bell fame. As you may remember, if you ever watched Saved by the Bell, Rod Belding was the brother of Principal Richard Belding, who was the cool surfer guy that came in to be a substitute teacher and was going to take them whitewater rafting, but flakes out at the last minute. I think because there's a stewardess or something like that he's going to go out with. But anyway, so 2 guys, Matt Hamilton and Scott Hamilton. You'll remember that Scott Hamilton was a Olympic figure skater and now commentator. I assume it has to be the same one.
The same guy?
It's got to be the same guy because they have the same name. So,
what?
Well, I assume it has to be him, and apparently he's got a brother named Matt, and they make movies too. In addition, In addition to him commentating and doing, anyway, I think they're all dead. Is the point. Because I looked for this movie. I looked in the normal legal places first. I looked on Netflix and Amazon, Hulu, all the streaming services I have. I figured Amazon would be the place to find it. It's not there. Looked on YouTube. Also not there. So then I went to the more seedier underbelly of the internet, and guess what? Not there. I really wanted to watch this movie, and I would have paid to watch this film, especially, for educating Mike. This is what I know about the movie. Drew Bernard is in it. Zach Best, Alexandra Blatchford, Edward Blatchford, Brandon Brooks, Cody Canifax, David Hamilton, Mark Hamilton. I assume that they have to be cousins. And Dennis Haskins is in it, and Thomas Parker. No Rod Belding, from what I can see. Maybe, let me see. No Rod Belding is credited in the cast. I don't know if he's a surprise guest, because like I said, I haven't seen it. I have not seen Saved by the Belding, and I want to so badly. There were places on the internet where it had been, and it was gone. I went to Reddit. People on Reddit were looking for it. Couldn't find it. It's like a ghost. I want to make a documentary about me looking for this film.
I was just going to say you need to make a documentary about the search for saving Mr. Belding.
Right. Now, I thought, okay, how else can I do educating Mike on this? I know. There's a bunch of reviews. It has 43 reviews. The movie is an 8.0 out of 10 star rating based on 43 reviews. Guess what? They're all external reviews to IMDb. They're not actually on the IMDb page. So I saw this one that said Saved by the Bell reviewed by Chris Dorkman. Some dude named Chris Dorkman. So I'm like, okay, Chris Dorkman reviewed this movie.
He's gonna have a thick skin.
I'm gonna go find him. I click the thing. It takes me nowhere. It says the WordPress thing isn't working. And I know WordPress works because our website is run on WordPress and we're fully functional. So it doesn't work on there, right? So I go to Google and I'm like, all right, Chris Dorkman, let's find out where you are. Every link to him either links to him doing a review of a Saved by the Bell episode on IMDb, or if you try to click any of the links that's supposed to be his reviews, they're gone. You cannot find them. They go nowhere. I put in just Chris Dorkman Saved by the Bell, and I get 3 results, all of which go nowhere. He is also disappeared. So who would do this? Who, like, the few episodes, like I said, the few websites where you could find Saved by the Belding before, and it's been taken down. They've been taken down from everywhere. Who had the motivation to destroy this movie? Who would have the opportunity to destroy this movie?
My theory is this movie never existed.
Though that the whole thing is a parody?
Yes. This Chris Dorkman person built up a resume reviewing Saved by the Bell episodes, so you would, kind of like people would see it, a lot of reviews, and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And he and some other people just made this entire thing up.
Oh my God. I hope that is the case. And Chris Dorkman, if you're listening, write into us If anyone's actually seen this movie, write into us. We want to know if it actually has existed. It could. I think that's a really good theory, Mike. Because, like I said, I mean, Reddit figures out everything. Reddit solves crimes, and
They're pretty
can't
bad
figure
at
this
it
out.
too, though.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Here, save it for our new podcast, The Search for Chris Dorkman.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking as I was doing this, we should do a new segment that's just like internet mysteries. things
That'd be cool.
that don't make sense about like the internet, like stuff like this where things just disappear. Or it's so weird. Because there's one that's somewhat similar. It's called Lost Heroes, the Rod Belding story.
What?
Yeah, and that one is actually still up. And that one just kind of talks about it's a mockumentary style thing where it just talks about rod belting. And like it's a look at characters and actors that shouldn't be forgotten, basically. But that one is pretty humorous. And like I said, it's similar to what this movie is supposed to be. But yeah, I think it is. I think you're right. I think it's just an elaborate hoax.
Dorkman, we know where you are.
Chris Dorkman. that's like Principal Blackman.
It's like an adjective.
It's Blackman.
Now, what do you think, Chris Dorkman? How do you think he churches up his last name?
Yeah. Let's see. The K could be silent, I guess. Dorman.
How can the K be silent?
I don't know.
What?
How could you do it? How could you break that up better?
I don't know.
Dorkman. I can't do it. It's so clearly Dorkman. There's such a hard division between that K sound and the M. Oh my god! All right, now, so that's educating Mike. I unfortunately I couldn't really educate either one of us on what this movie's about because it basically doesn't exist.
Yeah, we're on to you, Dorkman.
But if you look up "Saved by the Belding," you'll get a really sweet picture of Richard Belding as one of the top search results with that jacket just slung over his shoulder and that laugh.
Do you feel that if you had gone down a different path in your life, you could have been Chris Dorkman?
Possibly.
Just reviewing Saved by the Bell episodes.
Yeah.
all day.
I think if I had taken some more drugs, that I might have ended up like Chris Dorkman. It's a cautionary tale for all you would-be critics out there. Don't end up like Chris Dorkman. So now we'll do Keeping Current with Mike. Mike, now this is where, again, introducing stuff that you guys should know. We do this every week. This is the part of the show where Mike finds some kind of publication, online type thing, news source, since we don't know what's going on in Hollywood or pop culture, and we're doing a pop culture podcast, so we want to keep current with.
You got to keep current, okay?
So this is where Mike does that, and then we Google things to try to figure out what's going on. So, Mike, where are we going this week?
This week we're going over to the National Enquirer.com.
Nice, a classic, a classic one.
I wonder, does the Weekly World News still exist in an online format?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I thought it did, but who knows? Maybe we'll check that one out sometime. All right, so the headline is Report, Doria Ragland knew about royal baby before Queen. We bet Elizabeth isn't happy about this.
I love the editorializing in the headline.
I don't understand who Doria... I understand that the Meghan Markle?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Had a baby. And I think that's who it is. I understand that she had a baby because it was like on my Yahoo that we've discussed my love for before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't know who this Doria Ragland person is.
Doria Ragland. Yeah, I'm not sure. Never heard of her. But according to Wikipedia, Doria...
Is that her mom, maybe?
I'm guessing, yeah. Doria Lois Ragland, born September 1956, is the mother of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She doesn't even get her last name anymore. She doesn't get her last name or whatever. I mean, is Duke of Sussex his legal last name now?
I could not tell you.
So Meghan Markle's, anyway, her mom, yeah, it's her mom. But now she's Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, no last name anymore. And mother-in-law of Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. He doesn't get a last name either. And grandmother of the unnamed child of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That's like a math problem. She's the mother of Meghan, Duke of Sussex, Duchess of Sussex, plus Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and grandmother of unnamed child of Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
There's a lot going on there I don't care for.
Let's see.
But I guess it's a scandal? I mean, I don't understand how it's a scandal.
She
mean,
told
it's not
her
like it's like this late.
She told her mom before her mother-in-law. That's what the story is.
No, it's not even her mother-in-law. It's like her grandmother-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Her mother-in-law is dead. Her mother-in-law would have been Princess Diana. So yeah, her mother-in-law is, wow, lucky her. She doesn't have to deal with her mother-in-law.
Jeez.
I'm just joking. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, that's who she is. She's and I agree. It doesn't seem to be a scandal to me. She was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
I feel that everything about everything about the royal family is a scandal though, because I swear every day on Yahoo it's like this princess or this prince or something did something, and it's I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Meghan Markle says, "I hate Yorkies." Queen Elizabeth furious.
What?
I don't know. That's just one of their scandals.
Well, so people look into regicide, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Tear down the monarchy. I don't know. If you want. We're scrolling.
All right. The next one is exclusive inside Cher's deep freeze dream. Superstar wants to be kept on ice until killer virus is cured. Now, first of all, that's pretty generous calling her a superstar at this point.
Yeah. What the? This sounds like the plot of a science fiction film. What is she talking about? What killer virus?
I don't know. Maybe she gets one or something. Who isn't she like pretty old at this point, anyways?
Cher age is the first thing that appears. 72 years old, May 20th, 1946. Almost her birthday. Almost 73.
I hate to tell you this, but the advances in cryogenics haven't been great in the past 300 years.
Yeah.
Don't let Encino Man fool you, Cher.
You're right. Calling her a superstar at this point, though, is very generous. What is she talking about?
You can tell she was obviously taking very selective pictures,
But yeah, this is the National Enquirer. Sorry, I forgot. This is the National Enquirer. So this whole killer virus thing is probably just made up anyway. I mean, what's their source on this? Cher watched the Andromeda Strain over the weekend and decided she wanted to be frozen after she dies. Or not even after she dies, she wants to be put on ice now.
I don't know.
When I looked it up, though, the Cher killer virus, the third thing on the list is, what is the Epstein-Barr virus?
What?
And then there's another one from Fox News that says, Cher beats potentially fatal virus, I'm not dying, with an exclamation point. Now wait, okay, Epstein-Barr. Okay, so apparently she has Epstein-Barr. I wasn't aware of this, but I guess she has the Epstein-Barr virus. So that's the quote-unquote, calling that now people die from Epstein-Barr. I'm not trivializing this at all. But
You're gonna just piss off the Epstein-Barr people,
I know. But calling Epstein-Barr killer virus in a headline really over sensationalizes what the Epstein-Barr virus is. And it makes it sound, instead of it being, a medical thing, it makes it sound like a science fiction thing. At least to me, like I took it. But Epstein-Barr is a form of I should look it up, but it's like it's sort of like a leukemia type disease. I'm gonna look it up. I don't want to give you guys wrong information. Okay. The Epstein-Barr virus, formerly called human gamma herpavirus 4, yeah, Epstein-Barr's better name, sorry, is one of 8 known herpavirus types in the herpes family, and one of the most common viruses in humans. Okay, so, what the fuck? How is this? How is it a killer virus? I don't understand.
Well, she's 70.
Yeah, that's true. Any virus is a killer virus at this point. Okay, so the Epstein-Barr, malignant forms of Epstein-Barr have been equated or in the similar family as Burkitt lymphoma and Hodgkin's lymphomas. So that's why, and Sjogren's disease and stuff. But Epstein-Barr, it's a it's a virus. I don't. Does she have a particularly? I'm not a doctor. Does she have a particularly virulent form of it? I don't know. But anyway, apparently she's got it, and she wants to freeze herself because of it. Cool.
Was that an intentional pun there, Mark?
No, it wasn't. But
You still got it.
oh my god! All right,
You're writing your Mr. Freeze fan fiction too much, I see.
Yeah, exactly. Laura. Oh my god. My heart is cold, but my emotions are fiery hot.
This has a typically seen journalistic segment of LOL exclamation point. George Clooney's twins are already pulling pranks exclamation point.
Oh wow.
They're not terrible twos, the actor insists. They pull pranks. They're 2.
At 2 years old, what kind of pranks could a 2-year-old pull?
I don't know, but my youngest, when she was like 3, she pulled some really dark pranks.
We'll prank you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think the ultimate prank though goes to George Clooney by having them at a time where before they're in their teens he'll be dead.
Oh my god.
I pranked you by not being in your life later in your most formative years. What a prank. I don't know what kind of pranks. At least I understand that headline. I didn't know he had kids. I knew he got married. I didn't know he had kids. But
Yeah.
But apparently they are 2-year-old pranksters. Maybe they got his nose.
Maybe. This one's filed under OMG. Pam Anderson visits Julian Assange in jail. I love him. He's a good man. He's an incredible person, the actress says. Exclamation point.
Wow. I do know. Excuse me, I'm leaning. I do know who Julian Assange is.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I know who Pam Anderson is.
Yeah. But of course says I love him, but I don't think she means it in a romantic way.
Oh, no. If you've seen a picture of Julian Assange, yeah, she doesn't mean it in a romantic way. And if you've heard about any of Julian Assange's alleged crimes, you know that he could never love her that way either. Oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't love him. I know.
I mean, I really appreciate the WikiLeaks thing. That really was pretty good. I think for democracy.
Yeah, I like what the website does for the most part. Although I don't like some of the associations that they have. See, unfortunately, the website itself, the idea of it is great. Democratizing, democratizing knowledge, basically, like classified information and stuff like that. I think is a good idea. Unfortunately, I think he got way too politically involved with Russia and stuff like that in order to remain neutral, because I really think they need to be a website like this needs to be completely neutral and release information on everybody, or just release any information they can find. And I think sometimes he used it to in targeted ways against people I don't like in a lot of instances, but still I didn't kind of agree with it necessarily. But yeah, I don't think what he did as far as that goes should be a crime. Now, this is the one that had, I think, because there's a couple different ones, so I'm not sure if this is the right one, but I think he was the one that had a warrant out for his arrest in the Netherlands, I think, or something like that.
They're Sweden, I think. It was definitely one of the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, for like sex with an underage girl, right?
Oh, I think what it was, he had sex, but then he took the condom off and didn't tell the woman, so they changed it. It's like considered rape wherever it was.
Oh, okay, interesting.
We just call it speeding things along. Am I right?
Right. I mean, if you could get convicted for every time that you told your wife you were going to pull out and you didn't, I'd be in jail for a long time, and we'd have no kids.
Well, one maybe.
Yeah, maybe one. But okay, so that's what he did. Well, then I don't dislike him as much as I did. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't do that. You tell someone you're wearing a condom, you should continue
It's
to
just
wear a
good.
condom.
It's just good manners.
Yeah, but it's not as bad as I thought of what he was accused of.
And I think there's a conspiracy amongst Western governments to get him in jail somewhere. So that's
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree. They don't like what he's doing for sure. Like I said, my one criticism would be, don't be so buddy with Russia or some of the other some of those other regimes like that. Release information on them too, because trust me. President Putin, if you're listening, we love you here because I don't want to be murdered by you. But for everyone else, what I actually think is that there's a lot of stuff, Mr. Assange, that you could probably dig up about Vladimir Putin, since he's probably murdered many people, or had many people murdered, or taken his shirt off, got on a horse, and trampled them to death. I wouldn't be surprised if he wielded Thor's hammer at some point and killed people Captain America style at some point in this country. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you could find on your buddy Putin, and that's all I'm saying is don't protect some of them. Release all the information, and I think that is definitely a good thing for us to have information and all that. What's his name and what's her name, the two that released information from the United
Snowden
States.
and Manning.
Yeah, I think I think they're heroic for what they did. And I don't think that they should go to jail at all. So,
this is kind of only semi-related, and not really a topic of our show, but it's something I read yesterday that's pretty interesting. There's I guess there's another conflict in the Middle East. That's a headline that never
right,
never goes out of the news. Well, they're I think I think it was Hamas or was about to launch a cyber offensive against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did is they tracked down who was doing it and where they were from, and they lit it up with missiles. And they just killed everybody in there.
That's awesome.
That's just insane. They went after the cyber attack. They basically reacted in no time.
Yeah, that's quite. That's quite interesting. I saw again, this is really not for our podcast, but I saw images of their missile shield system working and everything against hummus or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. We could get into the Israel thing if you support Israel or whatever. I have strongly mixed feelings about stuff. But anyway, we'll move on to we got one more story to keep current with.
No, they were basically all boring after that. So yeah.
All right. Well, I will say this.
Now you're up to speed.
Yep. Now I know what's going on in the world, and that Cher has the Epstein-Barr virus. I didn't know. No.
And that she's a superstar.
Yeah. Still a superstar somehow. So we have 2 promos today for 2 different podcasts. One you'll know as a friend of the show. The other is a friend of the show you don't know, a new friend of the show. And we're always open to meeting new friends. So I'll start with the new friend. Mike, I'm sure you can guess the other one. So this is the Body Count podcast. This is Jessica Manor and Bethany do this podcast. And this is a really, really interesting one because they talk about history. They talk about something that happened in history where a lot of people died. And they go into the story of it. And they do it in a kind of opinionated, and it's not dry, just the facts kind of, it's very opinionated. They laugh a lot, even though, many people die. But it is a very funny and good show, and I like it, and you should check it out. I listen to it every week. So here is Body Count.
While you may think that history is, vaguely interesting, the truth is it's fun and metal AF.
Echoes of the past are still reverberating through our world today, and Body Count is here to show you how our shared history affects your life on the daily.
Whether you know it or not. So, are you past the point of higher education?
Feel like you didn't learn anything from your high school history teacher?
Or just didn't give a flying crap about it?
Are you tired of always missing out on the yellow history pie piece in Trivial Pursuit?
Are you the horror of all your friends' game nights?
Did you once proudly announce that Napoleon Bonaparte was a super short little nutsack?
When in reality, he was an average-sized nutsack.
Have you been thinking about living under a faulty dam?
Or perhaps an active volcano?
Well, we have good news. It's not too late for you or your homeowner's insurance.
Come on over and listen to Body Count, the podcast that explores death and disaster through the ages with only one rule.
Someone, or usually a lot of someones,
dies! Because history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes.
A proud member of the MSE Podcast Network.
And then, go check out Body Count everywhere they are. Do it now. But first, finish this episode. And also hear that our good friends, the Skeptical Skeptics, are back to talk about their show with us. So, RJ and Rachel, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm RJ Metzger.
And I'm Rachel Metzger.
And we're the Skeptical Skeptics.
Each week we talk about all the crazy things in the world, ranging from the paranormal to Bigfoot to UFOs.
And we look at it from the perspective of the believer, the skeptic, and everything in between.
So come check us out on the MSC Podcast Network.
Or go to skepticalskeptics.com and follow us at SkepSkepPod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
It's almost like they were here in the studio, right, Mike?
Yep.
I always love hearing the Skeptical
Along with Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Houston Texans, they had a good draft there, RJ. I think. I don't remember who they drafted.
What?
I don't remember who the...
He just has such faith in their GM.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, they got Deshaun Watson, right?
He wasn't a tight end.
That's true. And I really don't remember who they drafted, now that I think about it. Not even in the first round. I think they got someone good, though. They got an offensive lineman, right? They need one.
No clue.
But anyway, so real quick, before we get to our main topic, we will do Celebrity Diss. And today I didn't do a ton. I'm very worried about being arrested for stalking. Or cyber stalking. And that is a crime,
that's a genuine concern with this. Yeah, I think it is.
So, yeah.
And I think you're guilty of it.
I don't want to get on lists or anything. But I did seek out one of the stars of Game of Thrones. I mean, stars might be... Well, the guy didn't come on, so fuck him. But stars might be an overstatement, I guess. But he plays Tormund something.
Giantsbane?
Yeah, there you go. On Game of Thrones. Now, as you may realize, he is Scandinavian.
Yeah, I just thought about that. That probably, probably says a lot.
So
they're not good people.
Yeah, I agree. They don't come through for anyone ever, and this guy didn't come through for us, obviously. And just a complete loser, really, if you think about it. I'm scrolling looking for my my tweet. Give me a second. We're probably going to edit some of this out. Maybe not. Oh wow, yeah, I went back pretty far. Mary. There we go. There he is. Okay, his name is Christopher Haviju.
Oh man, I have something great for you after this. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so I said to him, "Hello, sir. So we are in a bit of a bind. Pedro Pascal was supposed to be on our show, to our understanding, but that fell through. We are covering Game of Thrones on our podcast, and we need a guest. Could you help us out by phone? We would be so grateful." Not even a response. Not even a like. Not a retweet. 111 impressions. So 111 people saw this. 5 engagements, of which these are the 5 engagements. 3 detail expands. So they expanded the tweet to see what else I said. 2 profile clicks. So 2 people clicked on our profile. And I think one of them was him. And you know what I think he said? I don't know. I can't do a Scandinavian accent.
That was not even close.
What do they fucking sound like up there? Hello, it's Sweden, right? So
yes.
Not even close. Now it's Irish. Anyway,
that was Scottish. I think you're doing.
So not close enough, not famous enough for me. That's what I'm sure that's what he said. I'm on Game of Thrones. I'm in 7 minutes of every 3 episodes of Game of Thrones. Not famous enough for me. I'm a fucking piece of shit Scandinavian. So yeah. So that was our celebrity diss. There will be a better one next week. I'm going to really find someone low on the totem pole, no offense to whoever it is, at Game of Thrones that might have a chance to at least see it. But I think this guy did see it. And I think he clicked on our profile.
Could be.
Oh, what was the thing?
Speaking of continuing, I scrolled down after we left the Keeping Current news, and I missed the most ridiculous headline ever.
Okay, good.
I shouldn't be laughing during this. My apologies.
Is it about someone's death?
Even worse. Scandal. Winnie the Pooh voice actor accused of rape.
Someone told me about this, and
it shows him holding Winnie the Pooh.
Oh God! oh!
I hope he didn't rape somebody, but I wonder if he did. Did he do the Winnie the Pooh voice?
Was it a larger girl? So he said, "Hold on, Piglet." God. Yeah, his name, unfortunately, is Jim Cummings, and he was accused of rape.
So now we're definitely current. Back to you, Mark.
Just real quick on this whole Winnie the Pooh thing, though. Someone told someone told me about this and said the guy that voices Winnie the Pooh was accused of is apparently a rapist. That's how they told it to me, and I said Sterling Holloway, because that's the original voice of Winnie the Pooh is Sterling Holloway, and I thought maybe they meant from before or whatever, and they're like, I don't know, he just got accused right now, and I was like, oh well, it's not Sterling Holloway then, because Sterling Holloway's been dead since 1992, so. That made me feel better about the whole thing, is that Sterling Holloway's reputation stays intact. So I guess this guy does it in, I don't know if he does it what's funny is my daughter, my oldest daughter, who is 13 now, she used to watch a show called My Friends Tigger and Pooh. And I think this guy might have done the voice for that version of it, because it's when she was a little girl. She was born in 2005, so it would have been 2008, 2009, somewhere around then. Sterling Holloway was long dead at that point. But yeah, so okay, he's being accused by his ex-wife.
Yeah, I saw that part too. I'm looking at it right now. We're digging deep into the story here at Massive Late Fee.
Yeah, this is almost like the news section now. Not even just keeping current, but actual news where Jim Cummings is apparently a drug addicted freak, a woman beating drug addicted freak. Oh man, I'm telling you. So this guy voices Winnie the Pooh by day, and then allegedly beats women, rapes them, does drugs, probably kicks kids in the shins. This guy sounds like a real jerk.
Oh. So I'm reading this, and then it says his daughter said that her dad told her that he was allowed to touch mommy's breasts since he paid for them.
Oh God! I mean, it's not funny. It's horrifying. But there's only certain reactions you can have when something's this upsetting, and one of them is laughter. That's how I usually react to upsetting news.
Well, he's 66.
Well, I hope he spends the rest of his life in jail. If he did it. He might not have done it, too. It could all be lies.
Correct.
I'm going to benefit of the doubt to everybody. I don't want to be part of the rush to judgment culture. I don't know this dude or what he did or didn't do. But he did say, but when Jim came to stay so he could visit their kids, she woke up one night to find him standing over me with his erect penis in my hand.
Oh my God.
While one of the girls was asleep beside her.
Dude.
This is his ex-wife. He came to visit so he could visit the kids, and this is what she woke up to. And then she obtained a second restraining order, according to the site. And he abused their family puppy, once shattering its hip with a broom. What the fuck?
God.
If all this is true, this guy's a fucking monster. And I'll tell you what, the picture makes me think it's true. The picture,
oh no,
the picture of him. He's got that little thin mustache and just those eyes. Ugh. I'm telling you, Jim Cummings. Unfortunate name for a rapist.
Right.
You know what's a better name for a rapist? Bill Cosby. Oh, all right. I'm sure that the guys that we did promos for loved that we bookended their promos with Cher's Killer Epstein-Barr virus and Winnie the Pooh the rapist.
Right. Well, it's not the character that's a rapist, I don't think.
That's true. Well, I don't know. Have you seen Rabbit lately? I'm just saying his ears look a little pulled.
Okay.
I don't know. We did do the celebrity disc thing, so I guess it wasn't quite bookended. This week, this week, we're talking about Game of Thrones. As we told you last week, we will review every episode of Game of Thrones until Game of Thrones is over. And I have to tell you, Mike, a lot of people hated this episode. I'll tell you what I think about it in a minute. But I am so glad you got me into this show. I love because I'm catching up a little bit too in between each episode. I'm basically there. But I'm rewatching some episodes that I've already kind of seen to cement more things in my brain since I watched them kind of fast. And it's a really cool experience to catch up to the show and kind of keep, watching things as they're going and things that touch back onto each other, like Varys and his little thing is there's like season 2 they bring that up too, or no, is it season 7? Might be season, I can't remember what season it is anymore. But the point where he says, you told me to look you in the eye and all this stuff, that I watched that episode recently and they brought that up in this episode. But I'm really loving this show. Mike, what did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I initially, actually, the first time I watched it, I kind of like dozed off, not because the episode was boring. I was just exhausted, so I watched it again. I liked it. It moved a lot of stuff along pretty quickly, which is probably good for this point in the series, since there's like 2 episodes left, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was a death of a major character, Missandre, Daenerys' interpreter.
Yep.
Which is witnessed by her lover, Grey Worm. He's not going to like that.
No, not at all. His Grey Worm is shriveled up now.
Well, it was gone to begin with.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then Bronn shows up, and he has his crossbow, and he's fully prepared to kill both Jaime and Tyrion. And he bribes them into giving him High Guard instead of River Run. And he makes a pretty good point about all the major houses started with like some, killer with a, sword.
Yep.
Some
Absolutely.
more far removed. I mean, that's a thing commonly said about, a lot of corporations in the United States. They had like really dubious legal ties at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite scenes in the show. Is that scene?
I can't remember whose quote it is. Behind every great fortune, there's a great crime. Is it Dominic Dunn? Maybe, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it might be. I can't remember who said that either. But yeah, you're right about that. Oh, but yeah, that's one of my that was one of my favorite scenes, and it's one of the problems that I heard people have. Like, how did he get there? How did he get past all the guards and everything? And yeah, I mean, I guess, but he's just one guy, and
there's like so many people milling about. There's wildlings everywhere. I mean, Bronn has probably been seen there before.
They just,
or he's at least somewhat familiar to the people because he traveled with Tyrion for some time.
Yeah, and they just went through a huge battle. It's not like they're, like they're at their best right now. You know what I mean? So
right.
So I bought that fine. And I loved that scene, and I love that character too.
Yeah, we just can't complain about travel times in Game of Thrones at this point, because in the books they were much longer, and we just assume people teleport at this point because they kind of do.
Yeah, I agree, and that's that's how things are. Like, the travel thing doesn't bother me so much. I understand that they're.
Yeah, because they're already at King's Landing in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
They get there in like a day when, like, in the first season, it took them like 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I understand it's something that can be, you can nitpick it if you want. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for it. Because, one, you have to move stuff along. You have 2 kingdoms that are separated by a great distance, but you have to get them together in a short amount of time. So, like, one of the arguments that I read was people were saying a lot of the great stuff happened on the way to other things, which is definitely true, watching the show, but not every trip has to be like not. You know. And I
Yeah,
mean,
not everything is the Hobbits or the Lord of the Rings.
yeah, exactly.
Even though it was heavily a big influence on Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But anyway, so the episode, I'm trying to remember how the episode, well, the episode starts with the party. Well, no, the episode starts with
The drink, yeah, it's like they're having a meeting, and then they basically give them permission to celebrate because Daenerys says, no, this is for the hero of Winterfell. Everyone widely knows that Arya was the one who, ended the war, basically.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they burn the bodies at the beginning, and Jon Snow gives that speech. They're really hammering Jon Snow as the next leader.
Yeah, they're definitely making. I mean, I felt they didn't do a very good job if they're really making Daenerys take this turn. She's clearly making it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just basically doing it in the past 3 episodes.
Yep.
They should have done this throughout the whole series. Kind of lace it. I mean, they kind of did to an extent, but I mean, she's never been this like merciless and like hard-headed. Maybe because she's closer to her goal. I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But yeah, so they burn all the bodies, as you said when you were live tweeting at late_Mike for all you that want to catch up on Mike's live tweeting. It kind of just highlights how much we didn't care about these people when they burned all the bodies. But
yeah, I felt it was very boring in the beginning with Jorah. Who else was it? Ed from the Night's Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Olenna, maybe the little girl. Mormon. I mean, I just whatever. They weren't characters that I really ever cared about at any point.
Yeah, and so we get that, like, kind of, I understand why they opened it like that, so you could sort of get the whole, like, dirge feeling, and
Sure.
to juxtapose with the party that comes next.
Yeah, but at the same time, to me, it kind of reinforced that really nothing big happened during the Battle of Winterfell. I mean, 3 minor characters were killed. I mean, whatever. The Night King's dead, the whole threat's gone.
Yeah, and
I mean, to be honest, in certain times when shows, even a show I love like this show, when the ensemble cast gets too big, I really need them to kill some characters off because I don't really need to know what Jorah. Oh, look, Jorah's talking to Vera. I mean, I don't care about the character that much.
Yeah, there's only so many characters that you can really follow and kind of develop an emotional attachment to in a show. And
I don't know if did you ever see the show True Blood?
Yes, I saw a few episodes of it. It wasn't one I watched like religiously, but I saw some episodes of it.
I saw the first couple seasons I liked a lot, but then it was like every new character is like, is a new type of supernatural character. And then they have a brother who's also a supernatural character who's mad, and then he wants to date this. But it's just like, it's a complete huge soap opera at that point. It's just not even like, there's nothing happening in the show. It's just all gossip.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sometimes it can get unwieldy like that. And like you said, that's part of the reason why these battles are good, because you kill off people and you can follow people more closely. But yeah, so they have the party. Sansa's not happy because everyone is, they're happy and they're toasting Daenerys, and obviously she hates her. And she makes that one dude the Lord of whatever it is, the Lord of I can't remember, something Breaker, right?
I'm not sure.
The guy that he was the bastard son of the ones that tried to kill.
Oh, Gendry. Yeah, the Lord of Dragonstone. They make him the Renly Barath, or not Renly, Gendry. They changed the last name to Baratheon.
Yeah. Yeah, so she makes him the Lord and everything, and everyone's cheering. They Gwendolyn Christie and Jaime Lannister and Tyrion play that drinking game.
Yeah, which there was a lot of callbacks to the earlier seasons. That was a game he played, I think, in the second season when they were on the war camp.
Yeah.
He played it with Bronn, actually, the first time. Yeah, he's trying to... they're just like drinking, having a good time. Tyrion's really back to his like self he hasn't been in a long time at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's just like kind of like enjoying himself, relaxing with his brother, having fun, doing what he enjoys.
Yeah, and then calls out Gwendolyn Christie for being a virgin, and not the character, actually Gwendolyn Christie. That was an outtake that wasn't supposed to go in. But yeah, no, he calls her out for that, and then her and Jamie end up hooking up. What did you think about that? I heard some people were not happy about that one.
I mean, I don't think it was necessary, really. I mean, I don't know if the book's going to go that way. They really had like more like a brotherly type love in the books, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of like some indication there's like a romantic interest on both sides, though. So maybe it will ultimately end like that. But yeah, it was kind of creepy in a way, too, because Jamie just kept trying to get her drunk.
Yeah. No, you got to drink.
Yeah, he's like, no, you don't drink. It's like, I don't know if that's really...
Like, what did you put in that drink, Jamie?
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, Brienne of Tarth is not a character I care a lot about. I mean, she's solid, but I mean, it's not like I watch a show hoping for more Brienne of Tarth in an episode. She's just like a, kind of like a nice character, like a supporting cast type character.
Yeah, it was one of the. That was a situation where, like, if you wanted to cut some stuff out of the episode, not that they needed to, but if you wanted to cut a few things out, I think that subplot probably could have gotten cut out. I wonder if they did it kind of solely for the thing that Jamie does at the end of the episode, where he ends up leaving and he's going to go to Cersei.
King's Landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're definitely rushing stuff too, so maybe that's something that would be played out longer in the book or something, but whatever. I mean, it doesn't bother me. So after this, we see Arya and the Hound kind of go off on their own adventure again because both of them really aren't comfortable in crowds anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the Hound says he has one last thing he wants to do, which I'm pretty sure is to kill his brother. I mean, I can't think of anything else you want to do beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is they're also both heading to King's Landing.
Yeah, I think they're going to King's Landing for sure. And, they're going to do what they want to do.
They're at a much different place in the book, because in the book, the Holy Order still exists. And the theory in the books, at least, is that the Holy Champion will be the Hound, and then the Queen's Champion will be, the Sir Gregor Clegane, whatever they call him now, mm-hmm. Sir Strong, maybe. So, I mean, it might be completely different in the books, but yeah, that's at least, because they blew up the Holy, Scepter and all those people in the show. So,
yeah. Which,
again, I wasn't too upset by it, because, like, okay, good, I don't have to worry about the whole, High Garden, clan and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And then, what's his name proposed to the guy's name, I can't remember now, but he proposed to Arya. And
Gendry proposed Arya,
and she Gendry, yeah, and she basically rejected him because she doesn't want to be a queen. Which, I mean, that fits her character.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, all her heroes are independent women who kind of like went around battling and that sort of thing. I'm really surprised she's not a bigger fan of Daenerys because she's really the type of person she would strive to be. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. They definitely brought up in this episode that more and more people are kind of like realizing that, like, oh, Daenerys might be kind of insane, actually.
Yeah, she's definitely trending in that direction, as you pointed out.
Even last season, she killed, Samwell Tarly's brother and father with just no hesitation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. They didn't bend.
She's basically somebody walking around with like a nuclear weapon that can, doesn't care what anyone thinks and wants to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what happened after that. After that, I guess
Daenerys tried to talk Jon out of telling his brother and sisters that he was a Targaryen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I think she rightly points out, if you tell people, then they're going to want you to take the throne. And he continues to say, I don't want the throne.
Right. But even by her own logic, she knows that he belongs on the throne because of the whole succession. He has a better blood claim because he's a closer relative to her than the,
Yep.
For the...
Yeah. He definitely does. But if he doesn't
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if he doesn't want the throne, he probably should have kept it secret.
See, the thing is, though, that's a whole. I mean, that's just assuming the Targaryens, they really don't have a claim because, I mean, they were invaders like a few hundred years ago. So really, the Baratheons who threw them off are the ones who should have the claim to the throne. So really, generally, probably does have the best claim to the.
Yeah, that is true. Because, like you said, we're going on the premise that
You're saying you're like the previous dictators, kin, so you're able to be the new leader now, and they just, violently overthrew your entire, family.
Right. We
and
were
tried to wipe
leaders
them from the
first.
earth.
Yeah, we were the leaders first, so we should be restored. Yeah,
And obviously, at this point, her dragons are very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the other main criticism that I heard about this episode is, they're going to King's Landing and what's his name? I can't think.
They're intercepted by Euron Greyjoy and his fleet.
Yeah, Euron Greyjoy. Yep.
And whereas before we saw they had one of those scorpion, crossbow type things designed for killing dragons. Now every ship on the fleet seems to have one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people didn't like the fact that he knew exactly where to be, exactly where would be the best place to ambush them, where they were coming, and they all had. And someone was like, "Well, why didn't she fly behind the ships? Why didn't she just fly around and go behind the ships and kill them all that way?"
There's definitely some weirdness with their tactics and strategy. I mean, it kind of makes sense for Daenerys because in the book, even she's really not a good tactical type person,
right?
But I don't know why she didn't just have the dragon breathe fire on the wooden ships, immediately after they fired, or even while they were doing so. They were wooden, arrows.
And that's what I was expecting when she was flying towards him. I was like, well, she's gonna have him breathe fire, but then she doesn't.
Yeah, she's even facing them when she flies away, and she doesn't even get a blast of fire in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with Euron knowing where she would be. I mean, he's like a master tactician at naval, battles. He's a lifelong pirate and one of the deadliest, crews in all the Aran Islands.
Mm-hmm. And there's got to be a normal route that someone would take militarily. Basically, you can call it a guess if you want, but he probably looked at the maps, and I don't know the layout of all the maps or the water or how it goes, but he probably looked at the maps and said, this is the way that it makes the most sense for them to try to come to land their forces. And
yeah, I mean, if anybody knows how to ambush somebody, it's a pirate.
Right. So that makes sense to me that he would be able to do that, and I don't need to see that. I don't need that spoon fed to me. I don't need a scene of him standing over a map saying, "Oh yes," I can just figure that out. That part didn't bother me.
But again, the dragons in the first, spears seem to be their weakness. Like a spear or an arrow to the stomach, and it kills a dragon instantly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But the part that I had tactically, the one tactical thing that I did have a problem with was when they came to talk to Cersei at King's Landing at the end. And I guess we'll get to that at the end of the review. But that was the one that I was kind of scratched my head on.
Yeah, so after this, we see that Jon tells his siblings. Bronn, of course, already knew that he is in fact the heir to the Iron Throne.
Yep.
Then Sansa has another scene with Tyrion. I don't know about you. I think those two will end up being married at the end. They seem to be, pretty good temperament-wise to each other.
Yep, I agree.
And she's probably learned to see the value. Obviously when she was younger, she was all about being a princess, and she saw the external beauty in people. Now she probably can see the real inner beauty of him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so she kind of stops him. She hesitates, but she tells Tyrion as well that Jon is the heir to the Iron Throne, and he of course tells Varys, and that completely changes things because we find out here that Varys is really kind of sick of Daenerys's.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been hoping, and then Tyrion's like, well, maybe we can marry them and they'll rule together, because Tyrion, and on the opposite end, is really bought in with Daenerys.
Yep. Yeah, they're definitely on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Which is interesting because before, Tyrion would be the first one to, try and find the most tactically, sound way to give him the best advantage, and he probably would just, put Jon right in there. But now he kind of he's like, I'm him and Jaime both have become very honorable, which is kind of like what the Lannisters were not known for being, especially after the Red Wedding.
Right.
Throughout, near the end of the series.
Yeah. So Varys, basically, it basically is already planning her assassination. He wants to get rid of her. He thinks that she is going to turn into the Mad Queen, basically.
Yeah, and it's not really hard to buy into. I mean, she is becoming obsessively, obsessed with the throne, and she wants to kill everybody who would even think of stopping her. Like, you even get the impression that if she had to kill Sansa or, anyone, even Jon, she would do so to get the throne.
Yeah, that's definitely the impression that I'm getting now, which is, it's a change in her character. Like you said, it could be that she's sort of been obsessing about this for so long that, now that she's so close, a lot of this stuff is bubbling to the surface. That definitely seems like a possibility. So Varys says that his loyalty is to the people, and whatever monarch would serve the people the best, that's the one he wants to support.
Yeah, he's always said his loyalties to the realm, even from the earlier episodes. But I mean, in the books at least, he's a diehard Targaryen supporter. He's he just loves the Targaryens. They brought him up from nothing, well, not really, but they really, believed in him and trusted him and made him, the master of spies. I forget what they call that. They might even just call it the master of spies. Mm-hmm. The master of whispers, that's what it is. And so, he, in the books at least, he would go for the most Targaryen of the Targaryens, which would be Jon. But it seems like in this, he's still claiming to, be all for the realm.
Yeah. But, so, he's trying to convince Tyrion that they need to work together to do this. Tyrion's obviously doesn't really want to. Sansa and Arya obviously don't like her either. And so then, what happened after that? That was, is that right before they go to, at this point, Daenerys is pissed because one of her dragons is murdered, as they're flying in. And she's got one left now of the three. And she wants blood. And Cersei has moved all the people into the kingdom, into the the square, whatever they call it, the river run, right?
No, King's Landing.
Oh yeah, okay. What am I thinking? I can't remember what they said in the episode, but anyway, so they move all the people there, so that she basically has to go through them, all these innocent citizens, if she wants to. Yeah, she keeps the gates open
just for that purpose.
Yeah. So, that's when Varys says, you don't want to do this. This is a mistake. This is not how you want to win. And Daenerys doesn't care. She's like,
He and Tyrion both make very good arguments that you could really just wait her out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But Daenerys doesn't want, the sound solution as usual. She wants the violent, dramatic solution to this. She wants to burn Cersei with her dragon if she can.
Yep. So they, I think it's Tyrion, says that they should give Cersei a chance to surrender and, get her life if she surrenders.
Yeah, and then Daenerys buys into that. She's like, oh, yeah, I can be shown to, give her mercy. I mean, she won't take it, but I could at least, be shown that I was trying not to be violent.
Yeah. So that's when they march there. And that's the one tactical thing that I have kind of a problem with, because they march there with some soldiers and Tyrion to be the advisor. And it's like, they go there to King's Landing, and Cersei's there with all the bowmen and everything. They could have just shot at her. I mean, they could have easily tried to kill her. She doesn't have her dragon there. The whole time I'm thinking, okay, so the dragon's somewhere nearby, right? Or there's another force nearby, so that if they do try something, it's clear that they can't do it. But that never happens.
Yeah, I know. And then notice, too, that the gates were closed in spite of them saying earlier to keep them open.
Right. So,
We forgot to mention earlier that during the ship battle, Missandei went missing.
Yeah.
Then we quickly see that she has been captured by the Lannisters.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire fleet's destroyed, and Missandei goes missing. For a second, I thought Tyrion was dead because they show that mast falling on him, but then he's climbing out of the water and everything. So
he just doesn't have good luck with ships.
No, not at all. So, the two advisors they meet in the middle and try to, basically each one says, if she surrenders now, they'll give her life, all this stuff. And they say they'll kill Missandei if she doesn't resign now. So Tyrion just kind of shakes his head, and that was one of the things I loved, where he's just like, yeah, fuck this guy. And he just walks over towards the walls. The bowmen they have their arrows ready, and for a second I thought maybe they were going to kill him, because I'm waiting for them to kill Tyrion. I don't want them to, but I have a strong feeling it's something that's going to happen in one of these last two episodes. So I keep waiting for it to happen. I was like, oh, it could. She could just show her ruthlessness right there, but she doesn't. And he tries to. Yep.
We should say real quick. She also told Euron at one point in this episode that she's pregnant with his child.
Yes.
Which I think it's important, but we just kind of forgot that part.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because she basically ordered the murder of Jaime and Tyrion from Bronn, and she had a chance to kill him right there, but she doesn't. And so he tries to appeal to her, tells her that, she doesn't need to have all this bloodshed, that her reign is over, and she knows it, and she can just accept it, and her child doesn't have to die. Basically, that, she cares about her children more than anything in the world, and she's pregnant now, and her child doesn't have to die with her. She can have a child, and her life doesn't have to be over, kind of thing.
Yeah, which is a really good strategy, because the only thing Cersei really does care about is her children and herself.
Yeah, it's a great speech, and a great argument that he makes. Obviously, she does not buy into it. She orders the beheading of Missandei, who gets her head cut off, and then what happens after that? It just kind of ends, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you see Grey Worm and Daenerys are both very upset by this, and then we kind of, I think it just ends there. To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they just go to the credits at that point. And, we're left with the penultimate episode next week, and then the finale the week after that. Like I said, I enjoyed this episode. Like you, I like the occasional battle episode. Like the Battle of Winterfell was very good, but I like these politic kind of episodes as well. I like the smaller scale.
That's what drew me into the show more so than the battle with the White Walkers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I like this stuff a lot, and so this was a satisfying episode for me. Were there little things here, and like the people that really complained about this episode, I get their point of view, and were there little things here and there that I was kind of like, like that I could nitpick? Yeah, there were, but I don't know. It just when a show is good, I don't feel the need to nitpick as much. I mean, if this show sucked, then I'd nitpick everything about it because I didn't enjoy it, so my focus is gonna be on what I can tear apart about it. But when a show's good, I'm much more willing to give them leeway in their storytelling. And the teleport.
Yeah, even a show like Breaking Bad, like there's certain parts like it's like, yeah, I don't know about that happening, but it's just such a good show. You just like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. Like Walter White causing an explosion to ring out in the top floor of a building that's so powerful it blows all the windows out and shakes the walls, but everyone's fine.
That's my biggest bother with the entire series. That whole scene. I stopped watching after that, and then I just gave it another chance. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that was like an isolated instance, thankfully. So
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there in every show there can be stuff like that. But if the show's good, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief a little more. And like I said, there were little things here and there that I think, and I don't think they're necessarily bad storytelling things. Like I don't think these guys are bad storytellers. I think it's a symptom of we got to rush a little bit. There's a lot of story to tell, and we don't have enough time. And I heard somebody say, well, why didn't they do like 10 episodes for this season? But that might not be their call. HBO might have said, okay, we got 6, or whatever. This is how many weeks we have.
Yeah, where they had a certain budget, and like the Battle of Winterfell was like such a big, costly thing that, they couldn't, afford 4 more episodes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm fine with what, like I said, I think it's more of a symptom of we have to get through a lot of this story, because the last episode, I think obviously they're going to spend a lot of time on the battle, and I mean not necessarily like just showing battle, but there's going to be a lot going on in the last episode where there'll probably be fighting, and there will be individual things, like individual people that have had grudges for a long time and stuff like that will be pitted off against each other and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of that stuff going on in the last episode, and they have to get to there. And I'm fine with them taking a few shortcuts to get to there. And it didn't dampen my enjoyment of the episode.
Yeah, I was happy with it.
Oh, well, that is our show for the week. We will see you next week when we talk about the second to last episode of Game of Thrones. Obviously, stuff is getting really good, and I think, I'm telling you, I think these last 2 episodes are going to be absolutely spellbinding. I am absolutely looking forward to them. But as always, you can find us at Twitter at Massive Late Fee. Massive Late Fee everywhere: Facebook, MySpace, Bandcamp, Patreon. If you want to throw us a buck, that'd be great. Most important thing you can do is tell a friend about the show. Tell a friend about Retro Late Fee. Just tell people to go check out what we're doing. Go to MichiganSportsEntertainment.com. Look up the podcast, or you can find our podcast network at MSE Network on Twitter. Follow Mike at late_Mike on Twitter. And yeah, tell people about the show. That's the best thing that you can do for us. But thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
See you later.